Hi guys, you can't trust the Tories with the economy, and you certainly can't trust them with the NHS, but you can trust them to jump on the latest bandwagon, as Kemi Badenoch and Richard Holden here are doing, when it comes to, of course, Lucy Connolly, who was released from prison just recently. Now, the attempts to scrape the bottom of the barrel and appeal to the worst people in society, unfortunately, isn't working out very well for the Tories. Have a listen.
There's different sentences for the same crime committed by different people.
Based on what?
Well, she pled guilty in a court of law,
yes,
right, to an offence, yes, and was in prison for 31 months.
But what are the two tiers is what I'm getting at.
Well, it's quite. We've seen other people,
yes,
saying things online and not being sentenced in the same way.
So your point is that people are treated differently based on what? Their politics, their views?
Well, that's exactly the point. That's exactly the point that is being made, yeah. That people are being treated differently.
But there's no evidence for that, is there?
Well, I don't think that's true, Ben.
What's the evidence for that?
I think there is real concern out there at the moment.
But what's the evidence for it?
Well, I mean, just look at we saw there's been a case, a prominent case recently,
yes,
with a Labour councillor
who pleaded not guilty and went to court. Lucy Connolly pleaded guilty, so you can't compare the two cases, can you?
Well, I mean, just because somebody pleads guilty and somebody pleads not guilty doesn't, you know.
But had Lucy Connolly
just because somebody pleads guilty and somebody else pled not guilty doesn't make, and then he realised, wait a minute, I'm actually talking absolute crap here. I'm comparing apples and oranges. I'm supposed to be comparing apples and apples.
Pleaded not guilty, she too might have gone to a jury and been let off in the same way as that councillor. You cannot compare the two and say it's two-tier justice. It's ridiculous.
Just a second, Ben. I think you make a fair point on that, but I think also, you know, Lucy Connolly has raised questions herself over the legal advice that she received at the time as to whether that was the right action to take. So I think it's slightly more complex.
But it's not complex. It's very simple. She pled guilty, and she suffered the consequences. Ricky Jones pleaded not guilty. He was tried by a jury. And I've said this before, I actually think the jury's decision when it came to Ricky Jones was wrong, but we have to respect the decision of the court. And the court decided that he was not guilty. He was let off. That's the reality of the situation. They're completely different situations. There is this attempt by the Conservatives. They see, okay, there's a new thing in town. Lucy Connolly is the flavour of the month with the people on the far right, the people that Nigel Farage is pandering to as well. Perhaps we can win over some of those people. Perhaps we can convince some of them to vote for the Conservative Party. Maybe we can use this as a cudgel to hit Labour over the head with. But it's not going to work. Because, as we keep saying, you can't out-Farage. Lucy Connolly is more likely to support reform, even though I think her husband or ex-husband is a Tory councillor. She's more likely to support reform than she is the Conservative Party. She has nothing but contempt for Keir Starmer for some reason, because he's not involved in any of this, but for some reason she described him as putting her in prison. He didn't put her in prison, and that she's a political prisoner, or was a political prisoner, because she was in jail because of her views? Well, yes, technically, yes. If you try to incite racial hatred, you would be put behind bars for that. Not because of your political views, but because of your actual views. So you're not a political prisoner, you're just a regular prisoner. But this attempt by the Conservatives to jump again on this bandwagon is pretty pathetic. The Conservatives are not going to win over Reform UK voters and supporters. Why would anyone vote for them if they can get the full VAT version with Nigel Farage? It's sad to watch. The Conservatives have nothing left. Oh, there's a new flavour of the month, let's go with that. Oh, there's a new bandwagon, let's jump on that one. Oh, wait a minute, Nigel Farage is already riding it. Nigel Farage is driving it at the moment. You need to come up with something fresh. You need to come up with new ideas. But unfortunately for the Conservatives, I think they're all old hat. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. And I'll see you in the next video.